Content warning. The stories and themes shared throughout this podcast may contain themes that can be distressing for you. If needed, please pause and do what you need to do to take care of yourself. If needed, please reach out to a mental health professional for support.
Welcome back to another episode of Resilient AF with Blair and Alana. But today, Alana is not here. It's me, Blair, with Sam. I met Sam. I don't even know how I met her. I think we were published in a different book together. Or did I meet you through social media? I don't really know, but I know that we had the honor of sharing Sam Van Born's story in Resilient AF Stories of Resilience that came out in March 1st, 2024. And then I had the privilege of meeting her at a event in Vancouver. And she is so inspirational. And she's a true hero, like true hero. She's a 24-year first responder, and she's been the captain for her last 7 years. She enjoys helping people. Between working in the fire service and her side business in the health and wellness field, she is busy. So today we're going to talk about what her life was like working as a first responder and a firefighter during the global pandemic, like on the front lines. And I am so honored to have you here today, Sam.
Oh, thanks for having me, Blair. I'm super excited. A little bit nervous, but you seem to make it easier to move through things, so we'll see how
Yeah,
it goes.
we're just chatting. So, oh my gosh, first of all, oh, that's a long time to be a first responder. Like, I can't even imagine without the global pandemic, all of the situations and challenges that you've experienced firsthand. Why don't you tell us a bit about your journey as a first responder and what it was like during COVID?
Sure. Okay, so backing up from a really long time ago, I just knew that I wanted to do something active. And I also knew that I wanted to help people and just have my day be different. Like sure we do things that are similar every day. Routine is great. But I just knew in the back of my mind, being active and helping people, and you know what, having fun too, was kind of my mission in life. And I started out actually delivering auto parts. I had two jobs actually. I delivered auto parts and I worked at a movie theater behind the concession. And I had a girlfriend of mine from high school. Her dad was a captain in the fire service, and I chatted with him. And being out and about, delivering parts during the day, I actually delivered to some of the fire halls. And so I got to talking to the mechanics and a couple of the other people, and I just got introduced to some really great people that helped kind of guide me towards, the ultimate career in the fire service. And I moved out to Lions Bay. I was a volunteer out there for about 2 years. And then I got into firefighting school in Alberta. And I went out there for, I think it was 11 weeks. And did my program out there and continued to volunteer. And then I had a couple of interviews. And funny enough, well, I don't know if it's funny. Thinking back, I thought, oh yeah, I'm so ready. I'm going to get hired. My first interview was such a flop. Like in hindsight, I was like, I walked out and I was like, I did good. No, I didn't. I did good. No, I didn't. And, I obviously didn't move forward in that process, but actually the second department that I applied to, I got hired, and it was local to me. So, it was my hometown, as per se, where I grew up, people that I knew. So that made it even more special. So yeah, there aren't very many of us women in the fire service. It's getting better. But I have been the only one in my department, and I'm actually starting my 25th year in January. So
Congratulations. And you're the only woman in your department.
as a firefighter, yes. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. And let's talk about that. Like, what was it like being a firefighter and a first responder in the community that you live? Were you seeing people and familiar faces? And what was that like for you? Because that just shows you a whole nother side of people.
It does. And I think it's twofold. One can be a bit too much, like a little bit to be too personal to me, because I do know the people. But I also think on the flip side is that when you walk into somewhere where someone knows you, they feel a little bit more at ease because
Mhm.
you're there. Um, so I try and focus more on that side of things. And also just being able to support the people that I know and care about. Knowing some of the crappy things that they potentially go through.
Yeah. I can't even
Mhm.
I can't even imagine. I mean, the work that you do, like you are on the front line. And before the pandemic happened, which added a whole nother layer, what were some of the things as a first responder, as a firefighter, that really shook you to the core that you didn't really anticipate on the job?
So the first major incident for me was 9/11. I was on the job for just over almost 2 years, and 9/11 happened. And I remember walking to work in the morning, um, and nobody knew. Nobody had any clue. So I walked into the kitchen and flicked on the TV, and we were all glued to it all day long. And so that was definitely one of the first major events in my life that I guess also helped shape my career. I guess I don't, it seems kind of strange, but traveling to New York a few times, attending services, I met a couple of really great people that I still stay in touch with today.
Hmm.
It's been decades after that happened. So, um, being able to support my brothers and sisters in on the other side of the world, really. So it
Yeah.
was it was quite the experience for sure. And then I mean, gosh, there's so many different incidences and events and um, calls that we've been to that could potentially really make an impact. Um, and I think really it's about how you handle it, and it's getting so much better. The mental health aspect of trauma and first responders and frontline workers is it's getting so much better to really just take a step back and say, you know what, I need a minute, or I need to take some time to just really focus on myself and my mental health and my health and well-being. And it's gotten so much better.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I can't imagine, like, I mean, the fact that you're able to support your brothers and sisters through 9/11, and I mean, going from delivering parts to, a firefighter, that's a big jump. And, with the pandemic, obviously that wasn't something I guess anyone really anticipated. And I'm not sure what you do in firefighter school training to prepare for something like that, or even if you could, because I felt like just a very wild time. But walk us through what life was like as a firefighter in the early days of the pandemic when the world shut down.
It was a shit show.
Okay, tell us
It
about it. Walk us
it
through it.
was it was because nobody could understand really what was happening. You got so many different conflicting pieces of information. It's like maybe we were privy to a little bit different information than the general public. So, you know, people trying to put plans and organize things and put them in place to protect us as first responders, but also allow us to be able to go out and try and do the best we could in our job to help people. So it was extremely stressful. I mean, it was crazy for the entire world. Like this is, as similar to 9/11. This is something that affected the entire world. Um, so it was really trying to get the direction of how we were going to handle the things that we were handling. Calls were increasing. People were scared. They were scared. And so what do? They phone someone for help. And there were things that we just really couldn't help with. You
Yeah.
you try and put people's mind at ease as best you can, but at the end of the day, we can only do so much. And so there were policies and procedures and plans in place for, um, extra protective equipment, or how we would do like respond to a call and do almost like a triage of making contact with people and finding out what their signs and symptoms are and what we could do from a little bit more of a distance. Um, then there was the stress about getting proper protective equipment, like it like the toilet paper thing, right? Not that we needed toilet paper, but you know what I mean? Like it just like things just disappeared. The gloves and the masks and the, you know, people were devising I think it was somewhere in the States, someone devised like cleaning the masks so you could reuse them. The N95 masks that everybody was scrambling to get. That, you know, as first line workers, we needed those things.
Yeah. Were
So
you were you were you being dispatched to um homes where there was like communal living, so like assisted living communities, retirement homes, to help? Because I know that I remember seeing on the news that in those with the vulnerable population, like those that are aging or that were unwell, with the isolation, that there was a lack of like extra support for them from like the facilities they lived in, and that there was a bit more casualties.
um basically no. We needed everybody and anybody to be able to respond from, you know, our station. So to diminish our staffing basically to take us out of commission to do something else. No, pretty much everybody just locked down.
Yeah.
You know, it was everybody just kind of, you know, shelter in place kind of thing that um, everybody was just trying to get through. So we had to devise things as a station. Like we used to work 2 days and 2 nights and then have four off. So the old saying of four on, four off. And our shifts changed. We went to 24-hour shifts um, to try and minimize the cross contamination between the four shifts that would come in and out of the hall. So um, and
Wild.
it worked at the time, and we're continuing to do it now. It just works better for our department. Um, so
24-hour
yeah,
shifts. Oh my gosh, do you sleep on those shifts?
if we're not busy, we have time to rest. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Sam, that's crazy. I just
Well,
like
I'll tell
love
you, it wouldn't
sleep. I
it
love
wouldn't have worked if my daughter was younger. So
no,
just
no.
it
Um,
wouldn't have worked. But yeah.
and you also started a wellness company as a side business. Let's talk about that. Why did you start it? What is it? How does it help you in your stressful day job or 24-hour job?
So I am a brand partner with Bravenly Global. It's a health and wellness company. They are actually in the States, but we are in our phase one opening here in Canada, which is awesome. They're naturopathically formulated products, and health and wellness, I feel, is my jam. Am I perfect at it? No. Is everybody a work in progress? Absolutely. And I think we learn and we grow when, I mean, different phases in life. You know, you've got, you know, your early 20s where you just feel like you're invincible, and when you get a bit older and then maybe into the perimenopause or menopause, you know, area of your life, which is where I am right now. So, you know, just trying to support yourself the best you can with really great supportive products, whether they're vitamins or, you know, supplements in some way. Um, and I've just the fact that it's naturopathically formulated, I was super excited about it. Um, you know, I've said it numerous times in the past. We have really great acute care, but if I can do something on the natural side, I lean towards doing that, and
Mhm.
I with Bravenly, and you know, I've just been able to help people kind of get to a better um, you know, your health affects your mental health, and it's all one big, you know, connected thing.
Yeah. What is the biggest difference you've noticed? I mean, obviously, while having a full-time job and, you're captain, starting a side business in wellness, essentially you're adding more to your plate, but it's enhancing your health. What are some of the biggest changes you've noticed? Because you're working more, you're doing more, but you're probably healthier, and I would maybe safe to say happier.
Yeah, so it's an interesting balance because during the pandemic, I did go off on mental health leave. So I was away from the job for about 9 months to work on my mental health. And I did get diagnosed with PTSD. So I was working through that. And I think for me, at the end of the day, connecting with people and knowing that I'm making a difference really um, adds to my cup. So for myself, I guess the biggest thing I just think for me is connection, putting really good things in my body, knowing that at the end of the day, I'm doing the best that I can, and if I can help people along the way, it makes me happy. And part of the PTSD is uh, for me is being busy and hyper vigilant about things. So, when I kind of have a task or um uh I guess if I'm helping someone or if I start something new, I'm kind of all in, and that's just it becomes my main focus. So,
Hmm.
um yeah, it's helped me heal, I think, too. Just helping others is just really, I mean, obviously I wouldn't be doing the job that I'm doing if I didn't like to help other people. So it's just it's a feel good feeling that I get from being able to do that.
And I love that. Let's just dive in a little more because we're coming close to the end, but I want to know like how did Bravenly Global and like the tools or the products help you with your PTSD?
Well, I think overall it was the support, whether it was the mental clarity. It's really hard sometimes when you're in the middle of a shitstorm to know what to do, and to know that I had these products available to me to be able to reach and put a couple scoops into a shake and know that I'm giving myself really great nutrition and not having to stress about, oh my gosh, what am I going to have that is going to help me with my nutrition? There's specific things that we have that we have a 9-in-1 greens. There's prebiotics, probiotics, fruits and veggies. Like that's all in one. Or there's a lot of people that are suffering from inflammation. We have a really great coconut turmeric apple cider vinegar blend. It tastes yummy by itself. It tastes yummy in a latte, or if you want to put it in your coffee. So I think at the end of the day, it helped actually take a little bit of pressure off of what I was reaching for. You can get into a really bad funk, and effort can seem like you're climbing a mountain.
Hmm.
So to be able to reach for something that is easy and good for you really helped. I know for myself, um, I was going out and walking every day, and as I wrote my chapter in the book, whether it was rain, sun, or even snow, I'd bundle up and get out there. And I'm actually going to go for a walk once we're done here. So,
Yeah. I
it's that daily exercise, moving your body, having supportive products, a good mindset, maybe a
Mhm.
little bit of a food plan, getting some good water into you. Um,
Yeah. I mean, that's amazing because I was going to say, what's some advice you have for someone who maybe has PTSD or is going through some mental health struggles? And it's, maybe even more specific, if you're listening to this and you like what Sam has to say, in the show notes is her email. Shoot her an email and let her know that you listened to this episode, and she'll arrange with you to get you a sample of these products because, she was able to go back to work. She's now all working shifts that are 24 hours a day, about to walk into her 25th year as a first responder, um, and has a side business. So that's a huge, huge shift. Do you have one other piece of advice you want to share, maybe?
Well, so okay, I did make a like a free gift as per se. It's my 5 steps to your personal breakthrough. So as Blair said, reach out to me. It's free. It's 5 steps. If you're in a place where you think, oh gosh, that is just 5 things, I can't even do half a thing. Um, it's not to overwhelm you. You can maybe just pick one thing. Not phone me, but email me, have a conversation. I'm happy to send you something that would as a sample that you could try. Maybe you're suffering from joint pain and, trying something that'll lower your inflammation. Or we have a great coffee that's got it's got a mushroom blend. Or if you're ever having trouble sleeping, we've got a great hot chocolate. If you like chocolate, this is a great way to wind down the end of the day. It's got some really great things in there to help you drift off to sleep. And it's actually called Drift. So,
Love
but
it.
yeah, I think maybe, well, the 5 things in the personal breakthrough, I think is a really great place to start. Um, I guess my top 2 things would be water, because that's easy. And
Mhm.
really what you want to do is drink half of your body weight in ounces of water. And then the other thing is move your body.
Yeah.
If you're having so much inflammation, reach out to me. I'll give you a sample for something to help lower inflammation. I think a lot of the times it's about how things taste.
Hmm.
So to be able to get a sample to try it, I think is really great. But moving your body, like I said, I started walking and I now walk. I try and get out 2 hours a day. It's a little bit of my hypervigilance and
Yeah.
focus. That I go out 2 hours every day. I get 12,000 steps in, and it makes me feel like I've accomplished something. But really, back during the pandemic, I was able to go out and I was able to connect with people. I could look people in the eye. I could smile. We still social distance. It didn't make me feel so isolated. Um,
It's
so I've
beautiful.
got I've got a few ideas. If people are stuck or feeling alone, um, more than happy to have a conversation to try and help you.
She knows what she's talking about, and she's been through a lot, 9/11, the pandemic, being off work, coming back to work. So connect with her. Her links are in the show notes. Sam, you're an absolute pleasure to chat with. If you want to read more about her story, you can buy the book on Amazon. It's Resilient
Yeah.
AF Stories of Resilience. There it is. I love it. And you know what? I believe every story deserves to get told and everyone should have access to it. And so if purchasing the book isn't in your cards, that's okay. You can go to the globalresilienceproject.com and every single one of our stories is published on our website because everyone deserves access and everyone deserves tools. So, Sam, thank you so much for being a guest on our podcast today.
Thank you so much, Blair. And I absolutely love and adore what you're doing for
Oh.
for people that go through trauma. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's definitely an honor to turn my pain into purpose and help others share their stories of overcoming life's challenges and how they bounce forward. And if you're listening to this and this is your first episode, we got tons of episodes you could listen to that have already played, that will play. We come out every week. And just know that you are not alone. It is okay to not be okay. Life is full of challenges and beautiful moments and everything in between, but you don't have to walk in the darkness alone. Let us be that lighthouse in the storm for you, my friends. You got this.
100%.
You got this. You are resilient AF. Thank you.
Yes.
That's a wrap for another episode of Resilient AF with Blair and Alana. And thank you for listening. Are you feeling inspired to bounce forward?
Let's connect at theglobalresilienceproject.com, where you can read many stories of resilience, buy our books, shop our clothing line, learn more about how to strengthen your resilience muscle, be empowered, and more.
Remember, friends, you are resilient AF.